Hey guys, it's M4J here, and welcome back to the Majeffries Network on OpenTTD. We are at the final hurdle before episode 200. This is episode 199. It is unbelievable actually that we've got this far. I'm really looking forward to revealing in episode 200 exactly what's going to happen. It's going to take a lot of planning. I'll say this now so I'll remind you guys so there's no confusion. Today's Monday. Obviously, the video might go up a little bit later than usual. Apologies for that. At the time of recording this, I'm not 100% sure exactly what time it'll go up. So if it is up late, I do apologise. University. That's the only reason I can give you guys is university. But this is a Monday, as I said. This Friday, no episode. Next Monday, no episode. Episode 200 will be on the Friday, which is going to be the... let me get the calendar so I can give you guys the date. That's probably going to work best for everybody. Friday the 13th is going to be episode 200. So note that down in your diaries. Friday the 13th. Just realised what date that is. Yes, that's something. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, shall we? Hopefully it's not unlucky. Anyway, we're going to be building some railways today. And that's, as I said, this is the final hurdle before episode 200. I'm really eager to get this done. We're going to do it as a live build, because why not? Sometimes I prefer doing time lapses when I'm doing big builds. So all the electrified railways that we've built over the last 2 episodes, they were much easier and nicer to do as a time-lapse, but sometimes it's nice to just be able to sit and chat whilst building, although as we all know, my talking and building skills aren't as good as perhaps they should be. But there you go. What was the other thing I was going to talk about? University as a whole, I suppose, is one of the things. I've mentioned this briefly before, but I feel like I'm in a better position now where I can talk about it in more detail, because I've actually got my timetable and things for my final year. It's going to be busy. There's going to be projects and there's going to be dissertations and all that kind of stuff. Videos will always take second priority. That's the main thing I want to express right now. Most people are very understanding with this, so I don't feel like I have to explain myself, but I feel like you guys are owed explanations sometimes when videos don't go up when they're supposed to. Because I can understand how that's annoying. I get annoyed myself when I spend all day waiting for a video and then the video never arrives. That can be quite frustrating. So, to explain it to you guys as best as I can, if there's no video, it's because UniWorks got in the way. So I don't want people leaving comments on the previous video saying, where's the episode? Because although I feel like you guys are owed an explanation sometimes, I don't feel like I owe you anything else. So anyone who has a feeling of entitlement or just assumes that videos are made for them and them alone, and they comment on a video saying, where's the video, when I've already stipulated where the video is going to be, there's going to be some trouble. Now, as I say, the majority of you are very understanding, but I have had it in the past and it can be very annoying. When things come up that are beyond my control, well, exactly that, it's beyond my control. There's absolutely nothing I can do about it. Sometimes I have enough of a warning that I can let you guys know, and I will always try and let you guys know in advance if I can. Because like I said, I know how frustrating it can be when you spend a long time waiting for a video and then it doesn't arrive. But just remember that this is my final year. It's very busy, very hectic. Anyone who has been through a final year themselves will know what I'm talking about. I have to do I think it's 10 to 15,000 word dissertation, which is a fancy way of saying big essay essentially. I've never been a fan of the word dissertation. It's one of those words that strikes fear into the heart when perhaps it shouldn't do. But there you go. Anyway, it's a big dissertation. I have to write one of those. I also have to do a end of year project, which takes up the entirety of my final year. which I am going to relate to the channel, or at least I'm going to try and relate it to the channel. So stay tuned on that one, because I have some interesting ideas that some of you might be interested in knowing as well. But yeah, that's a big project, takes up a lot of time. And then I have 2 other modules that run per semester. So I'll be very, very busy. Plus, this is quite exciting news for me. I was originally signed up as just a student ambassador, and I said this before in a video. I was working at Hatfield House at a game fair, which was okay. It wasn't too bad. But from that, I've been put forward to work as a student proctor, which is someone who goes in and helps first year and I think sometimes second year students with some of their studies. So that's a really exciting opportunity. So assignments take first priority. Student proctor work will take up quite a big priority as well, because that's about getting the CV looking nice and professional. So again, the one word to remember, if there's no video, the one word to remember is university. That's the reason. It'll be one thing or another that's popped up. I've tried to make it so that especially the proctor work doesn't get in the way of upload days, but I can't really sit there and say, oh no, I can't do that day because I upload YouTube videos, because that doesn't really, like, you wouldn't get away with that anywhere else, so there's no point in trying it now. Plus, I kind of want to do this job. It's a really interesting opportunity. It's certainly not something that I would have offered to do in the past. So, and again, I'm explaining it like people are demanding answers. You're not. No one has. It's been really good. But I just want to get it out in the open now, so there's no danger of any misunderstandings or anything like that. Because believe me, there will always be some kind of misunderstanding that happens. It's just the way life goes, unfortunately. So yeah, that's university. Let's talk about this railway, shall we? We planned it out a few episodes ago. It was a bit of a spontaneous plan, actually. I wasn't really planning on mapping out the line in that particular episode, but it is a key part of episode 200, so it's good that we are getting it done now. It's part of the cross-country route. I would say more trains will use this than just cross-country trains, because I don't think we're ever going to have enough cross-country trains to fully saturate the line, so it would make sense to have other franchises using this line. I haven't checked the name list yet. I'm going to assume that there have been some more suggestions, because I did put out a little thing about that last episode. As I say, episode 201 is going to be a big renaming episode. So if you want your name suggestions to be considered, you're going to have to put them down in the suggestions list pretty fast, because this episode might go up late because I've been really busy over the weekend. But from episode 200, which it's going up the Friday after this one, so I'm going to have 13 days, I think it is, to make it. But as soon as I finish making episode 200, I'm going to start making episode 201. So if you want your name suggestions to be considered, you have until, I would say, this Wednesday to get them on the list, which is plenty of time, considering I've been asking for close to 3 months now for people to put their suggestions down. If you choose not to do it and then you complain about it afterwards, you've got no one to blame but yourselves. So this is the final call, pretty much. If you want your names to be used in this series from episode 200 onwards, you know where to go. There will be other opportunities in the not too distant future, but if you want your suggestions to be considered for the next, I'd say 20 or so episodes, you're going to have to be quick. And you're going to have to put your suggestions down in the list. It's there for a reason, guys, so please, please, please do use it. Otherwise, what's the point? That's the basic summary. People wanted an input in the series. I gave you the forum to put your input, and some of the people, in fact, I'd say 3 or 4 of the people who wanted more of an input haven't used the name suggestions, which is quite staggering, really. I'm not annoyed by that necessarily, but I think it's quite funny that people want a voice and then you give it to them and then they don't want it anymore, or they don't use it. I do find that quite funny. Anyway, that's by the by. I'm going to signal this part of the line really quickly. It's going to be signaled to the same standard as most of the hybrid lines. By hybrid I mean neither stopping nor express, but a combination of the two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, there. Oop. And there we go. So that should be signaled all the way up to... where is it? Here, this junction. We might as well use this signaling as a guide and say that this is where the junction is going to go. And then we do that. Okie dokie. Right, let's continue building, shall we? So from here, this line is going to turn and head through a little bit of a cutting and then a tunnel, which is going to take it under the farms and over towards the northwest trunk here. And there is going to be a junction station. I say junction station. It's going to be a station where it joins up with the northwest trunk route. We'll do it via another little mini cutting here. We need to go as far as there and there. Right, which side of the bridge we decide to put it on, I don't know yet. But this is going to be the site of the station. And then we'll go over a viaduct. Now before we continue building this line, I do want to have a look over at this end of things to see where it's going to join up, because I kind of actually want to join it up over here at Renston, sorry, not Rinston, Renston interchange. I think that would work better. But I am sort of thinking, how am I going to get the line underneath? Might have to build some more bridges for it to go under. If I move this waypoint over one, got rid of those, and then turn this into a bridge like that, and then put that signal there, and then here, actually it doesn't need to be 3 long, does it? It needs to be 2 long, like so. So I can have that. So that goes like that. That goes like that. And then this one goes like this. This line here goes underneath. And there we are. And then this other line, if I just draw that across, we'll pull this bit down like so, and you'll go across like that and join up. And there you go. The cross-country line is now connected up at this, oh, it will be, at least at this end. I think here we'll just go straight across, and that gives this more of a meaning, having interchange in its name, and it also means we don't have to build a messy junction over here, especially with this weird alignment, and then it also means we don't have to snake in and out over there. So here, I think we're going to run under this bridge here, and then we're going to come around the lake. Actually, we might go through this gap here. So I should probably plan that out again. If I build from this end now, and then we'll meet up with the other end. So, under the bridge, as promised. Ah, yes, okay. We'll have some platforms here as well then. For Daningpool Bridge. Are there more? Might have to reprogram this. Actually, yeah. Yeah, I thought that might be the case. You copy there. And we'll do it if next order. Hang on. This one, if next order is, and we'll go here, or if next order is here. Okay, if anyone's wondering what this train is doing here, this is another overground service that I decided to introduce. It's not on a new line or anything like that. There's nothing to worry about there. It was just I noticed out of Dinpool one of the lines was overgrown, so I had a look as to why and realised that it only had one service using it, and it wasn't a very well utilised service. So I just went and changed that, so we got a more utilised, or you know, it's better used, that particular stretch of line. I can't remember what WRA stands for. Oh, it's the airport. So yeah, it starts at Dinpool here, goes round that overground loop, and then it comes through New Rennington, and then joins the south-west route here, and terminates currently at Rinston. But it might get extended in the future. But it's not being added to the map because it's not technically a new route. It's an existing line. It's a new service on that existing line, so it doesn't need to be added to the map. It's not important. Incidentally, I haven't actually seen the map for a little while now. Reedy has already told me that this map will be slower to produce. That's fine. As I say, we both have a lot on at the moment, so there's absolutely no rush to get it finished. As long as it looks good, which it always does with Reedy, it doesn't matter how long it takes. Right, I want that type bridge. So, I mean, this episode really is joining up the dots, which is basically where the title of the episode comes from, which I'm going to type in now so I don't forget, even though I've already planned it. It's always nice to have just that little reminder when you're actually uploading the video, so you don't get the title wrong, because I've done that before and I got crucified for it. So yeah, don't make that mistake. Is my advice. Do not make that mistake. But yeah, as I said, this episode is joining the dots. It's just creating that last little cross-country link before we go on to the big project of episode 200, which, as I say, I am really looking forward to getting stuck into. I've been excited about landmark episodes in the past, don't get me wrong. Episode 150, I got less excited as I started making it because, as we know, the map was horrendous. It was really slow, really laggy, and the game wasn't exactly responsive. It was a bit of a nightmare. But this episode is going to be so much better, because we've got a map that still functions, which is always a nice thing. Not only does it still function, but it's incredibly fun to play still. There's a lot going on, and it's just a fun map to work with. It's really, really nice. I've thoroughly enjoyed this map, and it sounds like you guys have too, which is awesome news. means I'm doing something right. And whenever I get that feeling that I'm doing something right, it's a good feeling. Now, I did actually say just now that this would mostly be cross-country services. I think I will actually run some diesel suburban surfaces on this line. I was looking the other day at GSP, which is over here, and if I could snake a route across via Guard Lake over to GSJ, and the conclusion that I came to was not really, certainly not easily. In terms of actually coming out of here, it's quite simple. I could just go underneath this bridge. Going over to Guard Lake is okay as well. It's this bit here, having to come diagonally across. Even if I use tight turns and go like that, I still then have to go over here, do it again, because it's GSMI over here, down to here, and then come across. And it's a little bit too much work. We have these boats that transfer people across via Guard Lake, but even that is a bit of an S shape, especially when you come from Guard Lake here, because you go down past it and then back up again, which is why I always had this junction here at the airport. It's why I started thinking here would be the smart way of actually planning out this route and going around like so. I just feel like it would be easier, although we're not following the exact line anymore, obviously, but the idea is pretty much the same still. It felt like an easier option. But yeah, it was an idea. I did it in the last map. I didn't want to do it necessarily on the last map. I was quite happy with, a bit like with London in general, you have the underground lines and the metro lines, and that's exactly what they're for. And we do still have the metro circle line that links up GSJ and GSP, but it's not a direct link, which is why I brought the boats in as well, because I know people were requesting boats, and it seemed like a good idea. It's just a shame that it's still not as direct a route as I'd have liked. But then it does go via Guard Lake, and whoops, did not mean to do that. I did say at one point I wanted Guard Lake to be a crucial interchange point of Guard City, and it is kind of still where, like on the last map we had Guard City Exchange, which is where east and west met north and south, and that's the same with Guard Lake. It's just not as rail oriented as it was on the last map. It's also not the hub of any high speed. To be honest, Guard City Exchange on the last map, it wasn't my favourite place. Let's put it that way. I never felt like it was working. I always improved it, and I always made changes to it, and we made it our high speed hub, and we put lines going into it from east and west, north and south, and things like that. But I just never felt like it really clicked and started working as it should have been. I always felt like it was always a little bit of a mess. And I know that in the real world, everything's a mess when it comes to rail junctions and things like that. It never works first time around. That's why they're always building, always improving. But I never really got on with it. I was kind of glad to move away from that area. The Great Western Main Line on that map as well was never really a favourite of mine. We built that really big extension, and then we never really went back to it. We did a little bit of electrification, and that was it. It just never really clicked with me. I never found a way to make it work, which is why I was really happy this time on this map with the Great Western Line, because I felt like finally I'd managed to find a Great Western Line that worked, and I wasn't just sullying the name. That was a good feeling. Right, I'm being very destructive again, and I can but apologise for that. But I do want this cross-country line to go through here, because this is a really nice interchange station with the overground. If I build it through like this, and then we have a tunnel that goes underneath here. It won't go the whole distance, obviously, but it will go some ways underneath. think that's the height. Yep. And there we go. And then it will swing round this way and then join up over there. Now, I was going to connect it up with Gunway at Gunway Brewery, but I think actually it might be better off just to build a station here. Actually, going underneath here would be a better idea, because it's virtually ready-made for that. Perhaps not there. If I come back a little bit further, there we go. Means I can run some lines across there as well if I want to. But having a station here sounds like a much better idea. And then if I take back this waterway and have it continue straight on that way, I can go under there and under there. And that's that little bit done. Now where do we come out over here? Because I'm going to build a diagonal across like so. Get rid of that. Again, I'm being destructive. Right now, it's in the way of progress, most of these buildings, which is why I am demolishing them. If they weren't in the way of progress, they would still exist. But they are, so I am demolishing them, that is. Get rid of those two. There we go. And then underneath, like that. And that's how that connects up. And now I've just got to do this last little bit over here. So you go diagonally. I was in the middle of saying something, wasn't I? Diesel suburban services, that was it. Trying to think what what kind of livery to use, and also where to start them from, because I think having them, I didn't connect this bit up either. Having them connect up in Guard City isn't necessarily a good idea. Renston interchange would be perfect if it had depot facilities, which it doesn't, and because of the way I've built the station, it's going to make it very difficult to do so. We don't have a Dartbourne type station on the Great Eastern. I keep going to call it the Great Eastern. The Guard City Eastern Line doesn't have a Dartbourne style station. Not at this end of the line anyway. Further down it does. With Denston. That's very Dartbourne-esque. But we don't have one here. Which is a bit of a shame. Missed opportunity, perhaps. That does give me a little project to do, I suppose. Just to try and come up with a way of connecting. I liked Dartbourne. Even though Dartbourne was a mess, we rebuilt it twice, I think, in the end, on the last map. I did like Dartbourne, because it really felt like it was the right kind of mess. It felt like a mess that was caused by, if you imagine a railway company builds a station, and then a few years later another railway company builds their line to the same station. That's what Dartbourne felt like. So we ended up with the City Connect lines going through Dartbourne, as well as the airport expresses, and it was electrified to a certain point, and it felt quite good. That was the good way of doing it, whereas the Great Western Line was the bad way of doing it, which was unfortunate, really. But it's just the way it goes sometimes. No hard feelings about the Great Western. It just didn't really work out, but it will in the future. This Great Western Line most definitely is working out so far. Right, I think this has answered my question about which side of the station, which side of the bridge the station's going on, because I think actually I want it to connect up with the town and not really miss it, because that would be quite pointless. Right, connect these lines, and I think that's the lot, isn't it? It certainly looks like it. So from here, we can now build this all the way to Renston. It's all signalled. All signalled. It's a bit windy through here, but that's fine. And we'll pop a signal there. Done. Right. Station platforms. Let's do it. island platform, actually single-sided platform. So this is Daningpool Bridge. So is this. No island platforms. So we want a sign. We want a bench. We want a planter, and then we want shelters. Those ones. There we are. Right, I think I'm going to build a station. I'm going to keep the platforms quite small on this this cross-city line. And it is a cross-city line, even though it doesn't really go through the city. It is a cross-city line, because it starts at one end of the city and it goes to the other. So that kind of makes sense. I think 4 is going to be my platform limit. Because I have a feeling the trains I'm going to be using are 170s. And even if we use the HSTs for the cross-country, they're not really going to use this cross-country line. They're going to use the other cross-country line, which we've already built. So it makes sense. So you're Feffing Hill, and you're Feffing Hill West. I'm going to rename you East. Then we need to put a station over here. It's cross-country, so it's quite old. So we'll go with the old style. Mostly because I really love these old bridges and CTAs. Even though these are described as modern, they look very old to me. It's just one of those things. We'll put the bus shelter looking things, and then we'll put that one there and that one there. Alright, then we get this big straight here with no platforms, and then here we have a station again. So I think we will get the Voyagers that come through here, but we won't get any other of the high-speed cross-rail trains. The HSTs will most definitely take the other route. Maybe 1 or 2 HSTs will come through here, but they're not going to stop at any of these stations. It's just going to be a through route for them. So don't need to worry too much about making sure that works. Maybe here, actually. If they are going to stop, because Sondinghead Cross has a big population, so they might stop here. The Voyagers certainly will, even if the HSTs don't. Top speed on this line, I think, is going to be somewhere between 75 and 100 miles an hour. It doesn't need to be faster than that. It's a circumnavigating route anyway, so it's not like we're going to be gaining speed by taking this route, so there's no need for it in that sense. It's fair to say that we're not really going to gain much of an advantage from using this route. And this is going to be where a future station is going to connect up. Where was I going with what I was just saying? Trains aren't going to gain an advantage from using this route, so there's no need to make it a fast route. So 75 to 100 miles an hour, it's just a cross-country route. That's it. That's what it needs to be. Right, you're going to be shelters there. And then the bridge. And then some CTAs. And then the ramp style bits. Like so. Nice. And then here, we're going to move these signals like so. And then we're going to build stairs that go down. like that, and like that. And then we're going to build the CTAs, and then the shelters, and then these. Right, and then here we're going to go with island platforms because they're easier to build. So like that, like that. Build the old styley types. Do that. I think I'll build something over here. Some ticket. Actually, if I do that, then I'll build the bridge. And then I will go behind and build some of those. That's 5. That's good. Alright, then up here we're going to have stairs that go down there with that behind it. Old-timey thing. And one of those. Yep, looks nice. Here we'll go with stairs like so. They'll go up to a bridge, and then tickets, and then a shelter at the end. This one, I think we're going to go with the ramps to a level crossing here, and then tickets, station sign, and a shelter. Here, pretty much the same design, I think. Ramp, ticket, sign, and that. And then the final one over here. Do we need one here? I don't think we do. I think that'll do. I suppose I could join up with this station here in Plardstone. Plardstone, not stone. So we'll flatten that. And we'll do that and that. And then this will be Plardstone petrol station. 2. We'll build stairs. Might as well go under, and then here we'll build a we've already got a shelter. We'll build this type. And there we go. So then this is if current order is here, or if current order is right the way over here, or if current order is actually, I'm going to put waypoints you need to be a signal. I'm going to put waypoints here and here. Remove you. You're that. Because if you're using the cross-city line, which I think I might call this the cross-city line, that'll probably work best. Who knows? We'll see. If anyone has any better suggestions, you know where to put them. Right. You are just a deny for now, because we haven't built you yet. You, I'm going to copy from here, but if entry direction is from the back, then if next order is here, or if next order is here, or if next order is right the way over here, or if current order is here, then allow. And that's that. Put the bridge back in. That's that station finished. Right. That does it for this line. The only other thing I was wondering is, do I need to put a waypoint here perhaps? But I suppose not, because he's just going to go straight in, and here you're going to come straight out. Maybe I'll put an exit waypoint? No, that doesn't really make sense. We can just use this as the waypoint. It's not that long a distance. We can make do. It's not a bad thing. Right. Is there anything else I want to do today? I don't think there is. I'm not going to reveal any more spoilers for episode 200. You're just going to have to wait now. Considering how close we are to episode 200, you really don't have to wait very long. Besides that, yeah, I think we're done with this episode, guys. The line's built, the stations are built, and trains are going to be running on here very, very shortly. So, without further ado, it is time to end the episode. Thank you very much, everybody. I can't speak now. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and of course, if you're enjoying the series, drop some comments down below with ideas for future episodes, and also give me a name for that episode, for this line, if you're not very happy with the one that I've already come up with. You are more than at liberty to suggest your own. In fact, one more thing I think I do need to do. Signaling. Yeah. Actually, yeah, next order is Danningpool Bridge. I think this one's set to the same, is it not? Yeah. Never mind them. That's all done. I think it's the other end where it needs doing. And this actually does need changing. If next order is Feffing Hill West, which is here, or if next order is, this is all local services that will be stopping here, so the next express stop is over here. Right, yes, quite. I think that's us done. I was in the middle of ending the episode, I know, but just suddenly had this horrible realization that actually I probably could just finish this off properly. Did I change this? I did, didn't I? Yeah. Alright then. That is the end of the episode, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the episode, and of course if you're enjoying the series, drop some comments down below with ideas for future episodes. For instance, the name of this new cross-city line that we've just built. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you guys for your continued support. And until next time, I will see you soon.